BJ of the beautiful city of Grand Prairie.
Come on in, come on in.
Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Yeah, yeah. Wake up and go praise Him, thank you to my God. Yeah, yeah. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Yeah. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Yeah, yeah. Wake up and go praise Him, thank you to my God. Yeah, yeah. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Yeah. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus Christ is my blessing, He came down to give me His blood. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky, I tell you I'm covered, I'm good. I know that He loving me, He be all over me, working around me, and it's understood. The fact that He cares for me, He's always there for me. I feel that I know that I'm loved. Yeah, yeah. That's my God, and yeah, He hold it down. You wanna talk about kings, well, mine will take the crown. Yeah, my God, my Lord, the baddest in the town. And where He at, I wanna be around. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings.
Yes, come on in, come on in.
Covered by the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life been covered by the blood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come back, stay flat, and I run it back for the kingdom. Might get thick, but I've been fit. I take the hit while praising Him. Thank God He's sending His spirit to keep me together to live me on love. He keeping His promises now. I realize it's been Him that's been filling my cup.
First.
Yeah, get up and go praise Him. Didn't He get you up? Yeah, yeah. How could you just sit there? Get up out the road. Get that rest and get them blessings. Pay your tithes and take them lessons.
All that.
This takes practice. Do your part. That's how you say again. Keep praising Him. Don't let nothing stop your praise. What's going down? It's only temporary. It's just a test of faith. It's part of the package that's living as Christ. He handled your battles. He was on your fights. He's watching by day and He covers by night. Just focus on Him and you will be alright. You tucked in His bosom and safe in His care. When He paid your ransom, He handled your fare. You're all the way covered. No need to be worried. Just look all around you. You see that He's there. He gave it to you. Trust Him. Yeah, He got it. Yeah, He did. Don't add no twist, no pulling. This ain't bopping. This ain't bopping, bopping, bopping. Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm covered. I'm covered. I'm covered. I'm covered. I'm covered. I'm covered. Yes, I said it. Yes, I'm covered. 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 Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus Christ, my Savior, one up for the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I'm covered. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Good evening, good evening, good evening. You're here with Pastor Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Keenan L. Tennyson, 1636 North Masters Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75217. We're here at 92.9 FM KGPJ in the heart of Grand Prairie, Texas. I do that every time, man. Thank you so much for being here. Come on in and listen to us, and come on in and chime in and make comments and call in if you need to call in and have a question or a comment. You can call us at 214-235-0683. If you want to talk to me personally a little later, you can call me at 214-335-6784. Hey, listen, we're going to jump right in. Let's open with a word of prayer. Father God, we come this evening to say thank you for another Monday night, God, that you allow us to stomp out financial illiteracy so that we can be the people you need us to be, help the ministry you would have us to help, to change the world that you would have us to change. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Listen, man, we've been dealing with these 42 financial independent laws for Christians, man, and you know, we sang this song, this is our theme song. One of the members, Joker Pinkston, wrote it and produced it, and we're literally we're covered. You're covered by Christ. You're covered if you're a believer in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which means if your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And then we're talking about getting you covered physically getting your financial house in order, teaching you how to make it in this thing called life, how to handle your finances, how to understand how the money game is played, and how to win. We know how to exist. The work is, can we win, and how can we win, and then not only how can we win, but will you do the work that it takes to win? It takes discipline. It takes knowledge. It takes application for your life to change. If you won't do the work, man, it's not going to change. We cannot be looking up to heaven, excuse me, and think God is going to drop manna down from the sky, because He's not doing that no more. He gives you the ability to create wealth. He gives you an idea. He gives you information that you can apply, and you got to work it, man. It's a flat-out war, man. It's a flat-out war, and you got to go get it. But, we finished up last week talking about, I'm going to just hit it real quick, the law of giving to servants of God. It's talking about taking care of the preacher or the minister that's watching over your soul, and there's blessings in that for that. But today we want to talk about the law of sacrificial giving. 2 Samuel 24 and 24 starts like says this: "No, I insist on buying it, for I will not present burnt offerings to the Lord my God that have cost me nothing." I insist on paying the price for it, because I will not present burnt offerings to the Lord my God that have not cost me nothing. That's 2 Samuel 24 and 24. It said it could be particularly challenging to give money sacrificially to God during financial challenging times. It could be. It's not, but it could be. This is one area that Jesus has taught and tested me, and this law may not be for everybody. It is only for you if you want to be a major blessing to others, teaching you and learning how to give sacrificially. If you want to become a major custodian of God's blessing, think of the Federal Reserve in the U.S., the European Central Bank in Europe, or the Bank of England in UK, who are bankers to other banks. Yep, that kind of blessing, being God's custodian and lending to nations kind of blessing. I'm talking about having more than enough to where you are the go-to person, to where you have been blessed financially to sow into other people's ministries, into other things that people are doing, into other businesses that will cause them to explode. It says you begin to walk with Jesus in your finances when He wants to promote you to a major level of financial breakthrough or higher level of blessings or grace. He would require sacrificial giving from you. Isn't that something? When God wants to elevate you, my God, He wants sacrificial giving from you. Man, did you get that? When God is getting ready to elevate you or promote you to a major level of financial breakthrough, of higher level of blessings or grace, He would require sacrificial giving from you. See, some of us will never get there because we don't even give regularly, so how dare we ask for a sacrificial offering? I dare to say that it is a law set in stone. All through the Bible, I have never came across anyone blessed by God that He did not test, someone or something near and dear to them to offer as a sacrifice. When God is getting ready to move you to another level, to move you to another level, He's going to require you to give something or someone up for an offering. Mm-hmm. Anyone that wants to become the rich that Jesus promised in 2 Corinthians 8 and 9 must know and prepare for a day or time that God would require sacrificial giving of financial resources they have made plans for. Man, you live that stuff every day when you really getting ready to be moved by God. You have to make plans. You have money earmarked, you have money set aside to do something, and God, when He's getting ready to elevate you, He'll say, I want you to give that. Man, I was watching this Christian clip this morning, and this young man was a spoiled brat, and watch this. He was at a restaurant, and he talked real bad to the waiter, and his dad was so embarrassed because he said, "I made you a spoiled brat. You want a new car? You're gonna have to clock in, get a job at this place, be a server here for 2 months, and at the end of 2 months we'll revisit the process." But watch this, y'all. Watch this. As the clip went on, the young man started being a waiter, and he started making errors when he first got started. And the same young man that he was giving a hard time that was serving him and his dad now became his friend. And while the young man was working to get money for a car, he developed something bigger than himself. You know, he literally was working for his car, and come to find out the young man that he became good friends with always had a job. He had 2 jobs. And the man asked him, "Do you ever sleep? What are you doing?" He said, "I need money because I'm losing my hearing, and I got a certain amount of time to get the procedure done before I lose my hearing forever. I'm going somewhere. Hanging up with me. So what happened was the young man had a change of heart. He started realizing how blessed he really was and how awesome that young man was in helping him. So when the 2 months were up, his dad came to see him, and he was really excited because he kept his job. Y'all, listen, this is real stuff. He kept his job. He kept moving. And the dad said, "Okay, what kind of car is it? What do you want? How much it costs? And I'll write you a check and we'll go get it." He said, "Well, Dad, I got a major problem. The friend that I gave a hard time," let's say his name was Bob. "Bob has a major problem. And here's what I want to do. Instead of you giving me the money for a car, I want you to pay for his procedure, and I will pay the money back to you as if I own the car." You talking about sacrificial giving. This young man was working for his convertible, and when he got to the point that he can get the convertible, God changed his heart and asked him to pay for the friend of his getting his ear procedure done so he could keep his hearing. Now watch this. That blew his dad's mind. And when it blew his dad's mind, his dad said, "Oh, I'll be happy to take care of both." See, when you're willing to lay it on the line, to sacrifice something, money that means something to you, that's dear to you, and God tells you to sow it, and you sacrificially give it, he has a major shift in plan in mind for you, and he's going to bless you supernaturally. I've seen it done time and time again. It's happened in my life. I save money, think it's for something else, and he say, "Go get it to somebody else." And it literally blows your mind when you give that to God. See, when God knows he can trust you to give sacrificially, there's no limit in what he put in your account. Oh, my God. The problem is we don't want to give at all, let alone sacrificially. And it costs us. Look at this. For example, do you remember the story of Abraham? God had promised Abraham that he would make him a blessing. He would make him a great nation, and from him all nations of the earth would be blessed. You remember the story of Abraham? Watch this. God had promised and guaranteed him children. So it seemed sort of contradictory that God would ask him again to go and sacrifice his only son, Isaac. Wow. Genesis 22, 1 and 2, it says, "Sometime later, God tested Abraham. 'Abraham,' God called. 'Yes,' he replied. 'Here I am. Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love so much.'" Oh my goodness, you see that? "Whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah, and go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will show you." Man, look at that. He didn't say, "Wake up your wife." He didn't say, "Tell nobody." He said, "Get up early in the morning and take thy only son, Isaac." Now, you got to know Ishmael was born. But Isaac was the promised child. That's the child that God recognized for the many blessings that he had upon store for Abraham. And because, because he obeyed God, God saved his son and made him the father of many nations. Watch this. There are some basic truths this should teach us. In following God on the way to obtaining the promise, we should prepare to be stretched and tasked beyond our comfort zone. On our way to the next level, to be used by God, we should be prepared to be stretched and taken out of our comfort zone. Wow, this is not a comfortable ride. Listen, let me tell y'all something. This that I do is not comfortable. This, you get ridiculed, you get ostracized. People talk about you simply because you're out here educating people. But most people hate to talk about money, especially the Christian, especially those that are of the faith. They hate to talk about money. But here's the sad part: we always begging. Love offering, sow a seed. That's begging. That's asking people to give their resources to your ministry, to your cause, for you to do ministry. But here's what he's teaching us, that we got to be willing to sacrificially give to really reach the true potential that God has for us. Financially. My God. You ready for this? Come on. Watch this. And then it says, you should be prepared to lose it all. Oh, my goodness. You got to be, yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to be prepared to lose it all for God. Point number one, you got to know you're going to be stretched. Somebody say, I'm going to be stretched. You got to recognize that in order to move to the next level of financial breakthroughs with God, you got to be prepared to stretch and take risks and be out of your comfort zone. Then you should be prepared to lose it all. I mean, lose everything, Aaron. I mean, you got to be prepared to lose it all. It didn't say you would lose it all. You have to be prepared to lose it all. My God. Anything within your comfort zone, anything within your comfort zone is still based on human strength and capabilities. So if you're only giving within your comfort zone, that's just still being based upon who you are and what you're about. It's not until you go outside your comfort zone that you see the real blessing. It says anything within your comfort zone is still based on human strength and capabilities. And then it says, which God doesn't need to accomplish his purpose. Your capabilities and your strength is not what God needs. He needs your faith. He needs your ability to stretch. He needs your ability to get out your comfort zone. He needs you to be able to risk it all and be ready to lose it all. That's when God uses us in a miraculous way. Real and major faith needed for the major blessing doesn't kick in until we are beyond our comfort zone. As long as you're in control, you're fine. But when he have you giving past what you've allotted, what you think it is, he say, then and only then are you where God can use you. My God. My God. It is where there is no safety net. It is either God shows up or we perish. Now, man, that's rich. That's deep, man. Either we work as if either God shows up or we die. When, listen to this, y'all, you have been stretched successfully beyond your comfort zone several times. Listen. And you held on in faith. Watch this. It says, abandoning yourself totally to the hand of God to do as he pleases. Watch. Fear loses its grip on you. You're no longer cowarded into playing it safe. You can absolutely trust God in that area of your life. Listen, that's heavy. That's heavy. When you have successfully stretched, when you stretched yourself beyond your capacity, watch this, your comfort zone several times, and you held on in faith. You were stretched beyond your imagination, but you held on in faith, abandoning yourself totally to the hand of God to do as He pleases. The book says fear loses its grip on you. You are no longer cowarded into playing it safe. You can absolutely trust God in that area of your life. My man say, when they arrived at the place where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Watch this. Look at this, y'all. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, when Abraham was stretched beyond his comfort zone, my God, he had abandoned himself totally to the hand of God to do as He pleases. Fear lost its grip on him. He was no longer cowarded into playing it safe. He built the altar, put his son on it, tied him up, picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. Listen, church, listen, people. It said it was at that moment the angel of the Lord came to him from heaven and called him, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, Abraham replied. Here am I. Don't lay a hand on the boy. The angel said, do not hurt him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear. Now I know. The angels were speaking that from heaven. Listen, can the angels say now they know about you? Are you at a place in your giving sacrificially where you stretch yourself several times beyond your comfort zone? Are you at a place right now where doing your stretching and it was stretched beyond your comfort zone, you held on to faith, you're abandoning yourself totally, it was no longer about you. See, giving goes deeper. There's a spiritual move. There's a spiritual movement take place when we do this kind of giving. He was getting ready to sacrifice him, y'all. He was getting ready to sacrifice him wholeheartedly. His son who he loved dearly. The promised child that God promised him he would have. Donna Campbell, he was willing to give that all up for the sake of God. And when God knows He can trust you like that, when God see you giving and not thinking about it, you giving your last, you done stretched. I'm talking about the sacrificial giving. I'm talking about putting it all on the line for the kingdom. Being obedient to God, He said, now I know. Good God Almighty. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Now I know you have not withheld from me even your son, your only son, because Abraham obeyed God sacrificially. Listen. Then God unleashed. Look at this, how He worded this. Irrevocable blessings on him. You know what irrevocable means? It means blessings that can't be changed. You can't change it. Listen, because Abraham obeyed God. This is rich, man. I'm liking this. Sacrificially, God then unleashed irrevocable blessings. I mean, they were tied up. He let them flow. He let them go, and they're irrevocable. They can't be changed. Oh my God. When you get to this point in being obedient to God in your sacrificial giving, then God unleashes irrevocable blessings on you. Wow. Let's read the Bible. Genesis 22:16-18. He said, this is what the Lord says. Because, my God, you have obeyed me and have not withheld even your son, your only son. I swear by my name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply. Look at what he said. I will multiply your descendants beyond number, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies, and through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed because you have obeyed. Man say, that is heavy. Wow. I'm sitting here thinking, man, that's heavy. Because of Abraham's actions, because he stretched beyond his comfort zone several times, and because he held on to the faith, abandoning himself totally, listen, to the hand of God and to do as he pleases. Listen, y'all, listen. Fear loses his grip on you. You're no longer cowered into playing it safe, and God will unleash irrevocable blessings on you. Wow. That's heavy, man. That's real stuff, man. Listen, that is real stuff, man. That is life changing. That's a game changer, people. That's a game changer. Listen. Let me pause for identification break. This is Pastor Keenan Tennyson, the prior pastor of Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church in 1636 North Masters Drive, Dallas, Texas 75217. Here live on 92.9 FM KGPJ, right here in the heart of Grand Prairie, Texas. If you have any questions and want to comment on how awesome this is, something hit your mind, hit us up at 214-235-0683. If you want to talk to me personally after I get off the air, you can call me on my cell phone, 214-335-6784. My God, man, listen. Whew. Major blessings come on the runway, I can't talk tonight, of sacrificial giving. This author said, I have had several examples when the Lord told me to give sacrificially. Sometimes it is personal instructions, other times it is occasions in the church for his work. Listen, that was a time, I remember this, it was the first Sunday in February. Pastor Quinn Burnett, musician at the church, he issued a decree and asked everyone to pull out $1 and bring it up to the altar. At least $1. If you have more, you can do more, but at least give $1. You know, the Lord is telling me to ask you to give $1. If you can give more, give more. Whatever the Lord let you have on your heart to give. But we at least need you to start with $1. Okay, and as they start doing that, y'all, people kept coming up to the altar and dropping money off. It went from all kinds of amounts of money. There were 5s, 10s, 20s, 100s, all kind of stuff. But he said a minimum of $1, and then Reverend Burnett did something real different. He said, if you, my God, don't have any money, raise your hand. This is not a time for embarrassment. This is just a time to see if you're being willing to be obedient. Are you willing to be obedient in what we're doing today? Three people raised their hands up. I was there. Three people raised their hands up. And what you saw, church, is that people that were there start taking money to those people so they could give. Oh, man, listen. And one lady, we call her Cha-Cha, 3 people came and gave money. And here's the deal. It could have been she just gave the one time, but all 3 times, y'all, she gave it. She gave it. Listen, she gave it. Cheerfully. She was rejoicing and giving. She was cheerfully giving that day. And watch this. Went back to her seat praising God. And before church was out, she had over $300 in her cash app. Listen to what I'm telling you. And I know this young lady very well. She's a dear friend of mine. I call her one of my daughters. She's a hardworking young lady, and God is moving in her life. And here's what I'm going to tell you. She's typing in, and I know it to be true. She said, it haven't stopped yet. The blessings of God has not stopped yet. Now, here's what I want to tell y'all. Don't stop going to the altar. And watch what he continues to do. Don't stop sowing at the altar. See, that's a sacrificial offering. See, the tithes and offering are normal. We take up the tithes and offering to run the building. But what Pastor Burnett was saying, sow a seed into the word that you're getting at this moment, believing that it'll take root and be a blessing in your life. And I tell you, she's a common everyday. When I mean common, I'm not downgrading her at all. She's a hardworking mom, raising her kids. I mean, working hard, man. And God, like she said, God has not stopped blessing her yet. And anybody else that's giving, if they haven't overlooked coming to the altar to give a sacrificial offering, there are people's lives that are being changed as we speak because they're obedient to the call that God had put in the spirit of Reverend Burnett in the first Sunday in February, and life has not been the same since. It hasn't been the same since. And I marvel at what the day when the overflow overtakes us, man. It's talking about that sacrificial giving for God to take you to the next level in financial blessings, the next level in giving, the next level in sowing, the next level in God being able to use you as he sees fit, man. Here's another thing. Only you and God know what you sacrifice. My God. While he's doing it at the church publicly, while he's asked us to come publicly, don't nobody look at what you put down there. Only you and God know what's put at that altar. And what God does is he blesses it because you're sowing a seed sacrificially in fertile ground. And it has to come back and produce. I tell people all the time, pay attention. When the shift comes, when the move comes, pay attention to what you was doing to cause things to shift in your life and keep doing that so it can keep shifting, if that makes sense. It says that this writer talks about on one occasion there was an opportunity to give in building a new cathedral for our church because our current place was small. This was at a time that my family still had financial challenges and not a whole lot. Of course, there were debts, mortgages, student loans, credit cards, and other bills. Anyway, we pledged to give $3,000 as a family. I had already redeemed a substantial amount of what we pledged. Then I redeemed $1,000. That night, the Lord woke me up and told me to ask for anything that I wanted. He said, ask of me. I wrote down several major prayer requests for my life. There are so many things that I need to fulfill my purpose in life. I would be a great fool to center all of my requests on money. Money is just one of them. So when you start giving and you start sowing in the fertile grounds, you can go to God and ask of him to do other things you need so you can operate and do what needs to be done for the kingdom. He said, meanwhile, up to date, those prayers are still being answered. I am shocked when I see God's hand every day based on that request. It is mind-boggling. If you get this opportunity, don't waste it on just asking for money. I will share more when I discuss the law of giving to the poor and preemptive giving. Listen to me. When you're sowing, the door is open. God is hearing because of your obedience. Listen to me. Listen. When he opens the door, ask him for what you want, so you can live out your purpose in the kingdom. And it will be more than money. It won't be just money. Money is just a part of it, y'all. You need peace, ask him for it. You need understanding, ask him for it. You need wisdom, ask him for it. Whatever you need, when you start shifting and start sowing into like this sacrificially, then you have the password, and the doors are open. The ears of God are hearing you, and you can ask him what you want, and he'll do it. And I know it personally. God is blessing her with more than just money. He's blessing her with that word. That word is coming into her heart. She's maturing as a believer. She's a better mother. She's a better worker. She's moving on with her life. God is sending people in her life to help her move forward. Someone that has a word for her. Some people that will uplift her. Not somebody that'll tear her down. We watch the shift. Does that mean she perfect? No. But that means she was obedient. And gave sacrificially. And God moved. Remember I told you before, when you give on that level, God unleashes the blessings. And they're irrevocable. He won't take them back. He will not. He will unleash your life on you, so you can be what he created you to be, so you can live in the abundance that he promised you. Don't get distracted. Don't get dismayed. Listen for his voice. Sow sacrificially and watch God move in your life. I'm telling you, man, she all up in this lesson. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been up in that lesson. I remember as a social minister, man. I was instructed by God. One Wednesday morning, like 3:00 in the morning, he woke me up. He said, "Sow into the man of God." I'm like, what? I brought you here to sow into the life of Pastor W.L. Johnson. This is my story. I live this. This ain't in the book. This is my book. And he said, whatever you do for him, I'm going to do it for you. I'm talking about sacrificial giving. I'm talking about being obedient to God. I'm talking about when you hear his voice, move. And stretch yourself beyond your capacity and comfort zone. Standing and holding on in the faith of God and removing yourself from the picture and watch God do supernatural things in your life. Let me just run that down to you. You know, some of y'all don't understand, but you know, he said, take care of that man of God. In church, let me tell you something. I did. I still do. I never forget. As a matter of fact, I'm at the radio station. I can walk in the parking lot of the radio station and see the little old bitty house that my shepherd was living in. And I told him, I said, look, man, I'm not bringing my friends out here to pray for them and meet you. Look at this house. But this house leaning. It was leaning, y'all. I'm telling you what God will do and what God is doing. Well, watch this. And not so we started moving on behalf of making sure he was fine and making sure he had dependable transportation and making sure he had a place to call home, not a place that he lived in, a place that he could call home. Making sure he wanted for nothing. You know what's crazy? Everything that I was instructed to do for him, God did it for me. I'm sitting here reminiscing again and about to lose my mind because it was a sacrifice. The money wasn't always there. When we had things going on at the church, when we needed special, it wasn't always there. But I had been stretched so many times beyond my comfort zone, church. People listen to me, radio land, listen to me. That God unleashed the blessings in my life. If we got him a car, God blessed me with one. We helped him get him a place to call home, he gave me one. I managed the man's church with no malicious intent. I wasn't ever usurping his authorities. Whatever he said do, we did it. I pastor now. I was instructed to give that man a certain amount of money every Sunday, come hell or high water. Now people are doing that for me. I was the one doing that for him, but now there are multiple people doing that every Sunday. Why? Because God unleashed his irrevocable blessings that he promised. Take care of him. I got you. To the tune of when I started pastoring, my church looks, the church that God has blessed me to pastor, we had the same furniture, the same. It looked almost identical. All because of the sacrifice I made. And sowing into the man of God and doing what he told me to do and serving him. He never had to drive anywhere. I was so blessed, y'all. Let me tell you about it. It's more than money, because I was so in tune with shadowing and making sure Pastor Johnson was fine. I saw everything. I knew how to do funerals. I knew how to run churches. I knew how to have business meetings. I knew how to do everything. You know why? Because I drove him everywhere he let me go. It wasn't no chore. It was a privilege. Because as I was sowing into him, the grace that God bestowed upon him, we talked about this last week, and sowing into the servant of God, he gifted me with that same grace. Now, folk that was at my mom and those people that was with me at Sweet Home say, you act just like him. I watched that man pray over people's lives and they healed. We had a lady named Sister Mother Fields that man, let me tell you, she had her hand across her chest, it wouldn't move. Sitting there one Sunday and pastor said, bring her to the altar. And when he brought her to the altar, he prayed. Y'all, before she knew it, her hand went up. And she went to praising God while Pastor Johnson was praying. Her hand never went down. She had movement and life back in her hand the whole time that she was alive until she passed. I remember Sister Lois Hawkins was having seizures all the time. And Pastor Johnson, when I was a little bitty boy, we used to go, you know, when you was a little bitty, they used to go drink coffee all night. Smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. They were sitting in there talking one night, and she had a seizure. And Pastor prayed over that woman. Do you know that was about 30 years ago? No, that was about 40 years ago. That woman has not had a seizure since. And then right before I left, and God had moved me on to Pastor Pleasant Hill, there was a little boy that was demon possessed, and I wasn't scared. Pastor wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. I was single. I was a renegade then. It was all God then. You could get it, man. You still can get it now. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad how it's consistent. But I'm trying to show you how it's beyond money. That's what I'm trying to. I'm telling you these stories to show you that giving, when you obey God and you give sacrificially, He covers you holistically. Oh my God, He gives you what you need holistically. I mean, He don't leave no stone unturned. This little boy was on the floor, breathing hard. Yeah. Well, we heard him. We weren't scared. I'm saved. Pastor saved, I'm saved. Folks in the church say, I ain't scared. I'm with the pastor. I'm bring it on. Church, literally, I laid out on the floor with him. He saw my watch. Give me your watch. You ain't getting my watch. I worked too hard for my watch. You ain't getting it. Satan, you finna get out of here. Church, Radio Land, listen. Pastor Johnson got to praying, and I'm laying on him because I didn't want him to get on the ground. He was just touching me while he was praying. Do you know that spirit left that man, that little boy? And all the things that I've experienced walking with him, I've now experienced those things as a pastor. I asked God to give me, Lord, give me some of that. Lord, have mercy. I ain't being selfish. I ain't never saw a man pray. He would pray, man, say, give me, Lord, give me a little. Can I get a little? I don't even want all. Can I get a little of that? I remember growing up, Deacon John Green was a Sunday school teacher, me in class, as superintendent. He used to teach BTU and all. That man could preach you. That man would teach you silly. How you crying? He didn't talk loud. He didn't get vociferous. He just spoke with calm and at ease, and it was just so powerful. He gave me some of that too. What am I telling you, people? This is how you win in the kingdom. These are 42 financial independent laws for Christians. Listen. Start applying this stuff. Don't come on Mondays. Ooh, Pastor, you sounding good. No. Pull your pen and paper out. Write these scriptures down. Go dig it for yourself. Start sowing into those things, man, and watch God do what only He can do. There have been people during the pandemic that we sowed into. We sowed into our own staff, man. We blessed them, for their faithfulness. And God has not stopped blessing Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church. Spiritually, numerically, socially, and financially. Our reach is wider. God is doing what only He can do. God, listen, man. I'm out of West Dallas, Texas. I grew up in Woodland City Apartments, the roughest apartments in Pleasant Grove. Went to Prairie View, got my degree, came back home and started walking with W.L. Johnson, got my own church. I'm straight from the hood. And we're a mega church in the hood, in the heart of the hood. Well, why are you gonna call us a mega church? Because when we checked the numbers last year, 52,000 people touched us on Facebook. We could never get 52,000 people in that building. See, you can be mega without the building. You can be mega in your heart. You can be mega because we're using the things that God has put. Listen, we're mega now. We're on the radio. Do you understand? No one could have told me that I would be on the radio station every week. You couldn't have made me believe that. No one could have told me that I would be on Facebook on the Wake and Bake teaching a Bible study for 30 minutes Monday through Friday that many people follow. No one could have told me that pastors now sit at my feet and we talk about the word and asking for questions and guidance. And you couldn't have told. You couldn't have. Listen, hey! I didn't know all that came from being obedient. I didn't know all that came from being sacrificially sowing. I didn't know all that came with doing what He instructed me to do over 30 years ago. No, it was 20 years ago. Yeah. It was 20 years ago that I got on this bandwagon with God, that I was alone. Listen, oh Lord, let me throw this in for free. When I moved back to Dallas in 1996 to come home and be a father to my son that lived in Houston, there was an old lady that had two girls, Marcy and Priola. And I met their mom, and when she was down starting her company, I moved into the one-bedroom apartment. It was a one-bedroom house on about 3 acres of land. This little, it literally was the maid's quarters. And when I started there, that little spot is where I got the instructions from God. Are you with me? Keep following me. Keep following me. Keep going with me. Keep going with me. And then, y'all, when we started working on, I got my instructions from God on what to do with Pastor Johnson. We started sowing into him, and then we moved him into a better place to stay that he can call home. And she moved me out the one-bedroom to the 3-bedroom that was her house, that was the main house. Rent didn't change, nothing changed. I'm sitting here recollecting this as we're teaching this lesson. God has always been unleashing his blessings on me because of my sacrificial giving, because of my obedience, and because of my sowing into the man of God. And then watch this, y'all. Watch this. I was helping a friend that wouldn't pay his rent. So she put us all out, me and him out. True story. Didn't have nowhere to go. I moved in with my cousin Serena, and we took off from there. And here's what I'm saying. Fast forward 20 years. It's 20 years ago. The lady came by the church and said, I want to bless you. I want you to do what you have to do to get this property. But what property are you talking about? The property where he first spoke to me spiritually, that changed my life because of the sacrificial giving, sowing into the man of God and giving where God said give. And we talked about how he will unleash the irrevocable blessings. Now I own the property where I got started. Wow. It works. I can't tell you enough. It works. There have been times I've been instructed to give away cars, and I give them away, and he blesses. And I wasn't giving away for the blessings. I was giving away because I was instructed to give away. I was seeing people that was buying cars from me from the lot that couldn't pay for them, that wouldn't come to church, and the Lord said, you remember when I gave that king a paid in full voucher? And he went out there and started acting funny and put the man in jail for owed him way less than he owed me. And then I went back out there and put him back under the debt that he owed me, and took him out. He said, go give away something. I'm like, God, wait a minute now. Hold on, God. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's you got to grow. This has to grow on you. This ain't for the weak. This ain't for the faint at heart. And I'm not telling you to go start giving away cars. I'm talking about when God say, you know what, go cancel that debt. Wait, what? Okay. You know how much debt has been canceled for me? You know how many favors have been bestowed upon me? You know how many doors that he opened for me. You know how many doors he shut for me. You know how many things he kept me from that I didn't even know anything about. You know how many things he's given me that I didn't even know I needed or wanted to ask for. All because of me being obedient and sacrificing and sowing, number one, into the man of God, and then sowing into the kingdom the way God said sow into the kingdom. So now he know. Does God know about you? What does God know about you? Does God say, now I know I can trust you? Or now I know you ain't worth the quarter? What? I knew it. I just did. Now I know. Or now I don't know. Or now I know. You're not somebody I can depend on. I'm going to tell you something, boy. This is rich stuff, man. And as you look back over your life, I ain't got to read that book no more. Not that part, because I've lived that. I didn't understand it, but I lived it, and I constantly do what I can for him. And he's not a everyday type deal, but he knows when I'm coming. Yeah, I never forgot him. Never forgot him. Love him to life this day. I am who I am because I sowed into that man. The Lord woke me up out of my sleep and said, sow into that man. And my life, church, has never been the same. And I sit here now full, overwhelmed with joy, because sometimes life can happen and you forget what brought you. But when God is getting ready to take you to another level, he reminds you of how you got there and tell you to get back to what I told you to do, because where I'm finna take you, I'm finna blow your mind and the people's mind that's watching you. So when he said, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered the hearts of man, the good thing that God has in store for you, I rejoice, because guess what? I see him moving. I can't wait to see what he has in store for me. I can't wait to see what's next. I ride down the street with tiptoe anticipation. I'm kicking over every rock. I'm looking under every crick and crevice. I'm looking under every piece of paper. I'm looking for Jesus. I'm looking for God. I'm looking for him to do what only he can do. I'm looking for him to continue to unleash the irrevocable promises and blessings that he promised me, man. And the story ain't been told. Because I'm going to tell you something. He's moving right now. God is moving at that place we call Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church, 1636 North Masters Drive. We went to the park on Sunday after church. I'll open up with this one next week because this is what we're doing. And we gave away so much stuff. And to watch the people take those things, and we didn't have a limit on it. We didn't need your social security number. We didn't need your name. We just were instructed to be a blessing to those people. One lady said, give us your number. We want to sow a seed into your ministry. You giving away clothes, but we want to sow into you. Don't you tell me, hey, man, what God can do and what God won't do, man. He will blow your mind on him blessing you, man. But you got to be obedient. You got to be listening for him. See, I think the devil gets us so caught up in social media and what people are saying that we can't hear him. We won't hear God. And we miss out on the blessings that God has for us. My God. This has really been a blessing tonight. So a lot of times you think you're coming on for someone else, but you're actually logging on for yourself. Be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap a harvest if you don't relax your efforts. So I'm fired up, man. Thank you for tuning in tonight. 92.9 KG PJ FM radio, Grand Prairie, Texas. I'm the proud pastor of Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church, 1636 North Masters Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75217. Hit us up. We're on Facebook. You can dial my number, 214-335-6784. My co-host is not here. They're getting ready to go out of town. Told her to go on and get packed, man. You know, the women's slow. I didn't want to rag on her, give her a hard time before the show. I did it, but at the end of the show. But it's just been a pleasure to be here. It's very humbling. I'm so glad I came. So if you would, keep us in your prayers. Hit us up if you need to talk to us. And with that being said, we're going to tell you we covered because we're over now. Let's go home, Maestro.
Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him, thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him, thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Jesus Christ is my blessing, He came down to give me His blood. From the crown to the grave, from the grave to the sky, I tell you I'm covered, I'm good. I know that He loving me, He be all over me, working around me, and it's understood. The fact that He cares for me, He's always there for me. I feel that I know that I'm loved. That's my G.O.D. Yeah, He hold it down. You wanna talk about kings? Well, mine will take the crown. Yeah, I got my Lord, the baddest in the town. And where He at, I wanna be around. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him, thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life is covered by the blood. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him, thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life been covered by the blood. Stay focused flat and I run it back for the kingdom. Might get thick, but I've been fit. I take the
Come on here, come on here. Let's go to the house, man. Hit this page if you know you're covered.
Get up and go praise Him. Didn't He get you up? How could you just sit there? Get up out that rug. Get that breakthrough. Get them blessings. Pay your tithes and take them lessons. Ask for wisdom. This takes practice. Do your part. That's how you say again. Keep praising Him. Don't let nothing stop your praise. What's going down? It's only temporary. It's just a test of faith. It's part of the package. Just living as Christ. He handles your battles. He was on your fights. He's watching by day and He covers by night. Just focus on Him and you will be alright. You trust in His bosom and safe in His care. When He pays your rest, He handles your fire. You're all the way covered. No need to be worried. Just look all around you. You see that He's there. He gave it to you. Trust Him. Yeah, He got it. He did. Don't add no twist, no pulling. This ain't bopping. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. I'm covered. Yes, I said it. Yes, I'm covered. Yes, I'm covered. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood. Jesus Christ, my Savior, wonderful the Lord. Wake up and go praise Him. Thank you to my God. About to get some blessings, favor from above. Because my life ain't covered by the blood.
See you guys next Monday. Same back time, same back channel. We love you. God bless you.
Radio by the grace of God, 92.9 FM. KGPJ.